recording though, right? Not yet? Okay, we are now recording, trustees. We don't need any social media hot mic conversations.
People may want to send their condolences.
Did you have a good day Friday? Yeah. Well, it was better than yesterday. Yesterday got hot out there. Ooh. Today was nice. We need some rain though. There it is.
Oh, well. Yeah, right. Those who need a little bit extra time, go ahead and start.
Gerald's back.
I show 6 o'clock straight up. I will call this meeting of the Ross Township Board to order. Please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. I just real quick, I am sitting in the chair because Christina's father passed away last night, and so she is taking care of personal business, so our prayers and condolences go out to her and her family. So with that, I will ask Clerk Stage to please take the attendance.
Christine Hutchinson, absent with cause. Mary Stage, here. Amanda Wiersma.
Here.
Diana Langshaw. Mike Beeks.
Here.
Lynn Harmon.
Here.
Todd White.
Here.
Present is Rob Thal.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd like to approve it with 3 changes.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to add onto the agenda 3 items. One is a sidewalk on a road easement discussion that under new business. I'd like to put Bert Gale on as AGS for a, short presentation. And also, I want to talk about a project that the ZBA wanted me to bring forward that didn't make this agenda, but I'd like to talk to the board to see if we can make sure that it is on the October agenda. I'll explain at that point. It's a ZBA concern that we are bringing forward to the board.
From the order of it, do we want to do the Operation Greenlight for veterans? Is that individual here that's speaking? Okay. Do that first, then do the three you added, and then go back to, so we'll do 1, Operation Greenlight, 2, sidewalk, 3, Burt, 4, ZBA, 5, options for police department, 6, public safety, 7, quarterly budget review.
I'll amend my motion to reflect all of that.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Please show the motion carries with unanimous voice vote. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated?
I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion, support. Any conversation? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Please show that the motion carries with unanimous voice vote. All right, with that, we are going to go into our first citizen comment. For those that have been here, you know the drill. Please, if you're able, step up to the microphone. It is on. If you're not able, just raise your hand. We'll have the microphone brought to you. We would just ask that you state your name. You do not need to give address and social security number, anything like that, just the name. And if you are not a Ross Township resident, keep in mind that this is intended for discussion between the speaker and the board. This is not a time that we're going to be doing a kind of Q&A back and forth. So we will listen. If you have a need to have further discussion, we would ask that you reach out to the township, schedule a time to come in and have that discussion. So with that, I will open the public comment at 6:04. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Okay, we will close citizen comment at 6:04. All right, we will transition into various committee reports. Chief Bogema, I see you back there. Do you want to go first?
So we had 49 calls last month, 39 calls in 24.
Chief, could you move that? It should be on. Oh, wait. There we go.
Okay, so we had 49 calls in August this month, this year, 39 calls last year. We are at, right now we're about 360, but that was at 349 calls at the end of August. In 24, we were at 268 calls. So we are about 85 calls, 88 calls over last year's run numbers. We had, so calls by area, Ross Township, we had 38, Village of Augusta, we had 9, Out of Township, Galesburg, Richland, I don't think we went anywhere else other than those two places. We had 5 calls. We did our normal training, we had our car show, which was not as good as has been in years past, but So, we also did a event with Martin, quite a few of the other different departments, Hickory Corners, Galesburg, Richland, Comstock Fire Department, Life Care, Life EMS, Dive Team, Sheriff's Department, Ross Township PD, Augusta PD, Richland PD, State Police, and Grand Rapids PD that came. We went to the Bible conference for it's a Starlight Shores family camp. It's for kids that have cancer. They got to spray some of the look at the truck, spray the waters. We tried to get them to lock up Martin, but that didn't happen. So as far as that goes, I mean, so that's really about the extent of it. So we're been busy. It's about a call and a half, almost just under 2 calls a day. So I don't get much work done during the week. So.
All right, thank you. Chief Brown, would you like to go next?
Well, I got a few things for you today. Last month, I was tasked by you folks to come up with bids for relocating over to the north side of the building there. I know you were big on 3 quotes, but this project is too small. Nobody wanted to jump in on it. I reached out to an individual that the township has used in years past for basically handyman work, because we're only talking about a door and a wall down a 5-foot hallway. So that quote is there. The others are generic companies that are already used by Ross Township. When you look at it and get to that point, just to let you know, as you can see, the costs are not that high. That money is currently available in the police budget, and there would not be any need for any additional revenues to cover this project should you decide to go forward with it. Okay. The other issue I'd like to talk about is concerning the emails you're receiving. You guys have received several emails from citizens that have concerns. However, these emails are essentially factually incorrect. The first one I want to address is on the second page of that packet I gave you. I have a lady that has insisted that on that tragic events on July 4th, it took me 51 minutes to get there. Well, if you look at the photograph that you have there, it's time date stamped. It shows that I arrived in less than 6 minutes after the call went out. Okay. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. There's a response for that. Okay. Secondly, there are complaints of violating the wake zones in the process of attempting to stop and catch perpetrators that are violating the wake area. There is the MCL, the next page is the Michigan Compiled laws indicating that just like on traffic enforcement, police officers can exceed speed limits to perform their official duties, okay? And whether it's on the road or on the water, you do it cautiously, and you do it only to the bare minimum needed to affect your official duties, okay? So that's the MCL for that. The last thing is this page. It's the stats that we've gotten from Kalamazoo County, excuse me, wrong county. And I'll take blame for this. I never really looked at them because I looked at the other pages that came with the actual calls for service. This thing that they have. I've talked to them about providing better and more accurate information. To give you an example of what would happen is Augusta, Village of Augusta, their police department observes somebody speeding in their jurisdiction. But they don't stop them till they get to Augusta and 44th Street. That is a stat for Ross Township. That reflects if a Portage police officer comes over here to interview a suspect or a witness or a victim, and they punch on their computer follow-up at 123 East Gull Lake Drive. Again, that shows up as a Ross Township incident, okay? I've asked them to look at it. They're in the process of looking at it so that data is just not a number, but gives you reference material to go with that number. Because this is everything from the fire department, animal control, to prisoner transport. A lot of times Kalamazoo will meet Battle Creek at the West Point, transfer a wanted person from Battle Creek to Kalamazoo, and then they take them the rest of the way to the jail. Problem is, that shows up as a police activity by the Ross Township on this stat. Okay, so the numbers are just, and what they mean really isn't helpful for us to show what is being conducted in Ross Township. So we're working on that. We're also going to work on the stats that I provide with us in Richland. See if we can't capture the data better and find a more useful way of doing it. Okay. Just a couple more things. Property disputes, and Mr. Thal will back me on this, are civil. If you have a dispute over your property line and with your neighbor, it's not a police matter. And I have a lady in this township that is very upset that I'm telling her no. And I'm not just arbitrarily saying no. I've talked to the prosecutor's office. I've even talked to the survey companies. And the only thing that would be a police matter is if somebody pulled up the metal stakes at the corner of the lot lines. Okay? The little wooden stakes with flags have no bearing. That's a civil matter between the neighbors. Okay? However, as you've received emails, that person doesn't like that response. Okay? But I can't change the law. Okay? She also had a complaint about a noise complaint that I didn't respond to it. Dispatch shows I did. The problem is I came from the north, not the south. All the cameras that she has focused on her neighbors can't see the police truck when it comes from the north. Okay? I don't ignore calls. I go to them and I effect a change. And I quieted it down. Okay? She then got upset because my truck was at a sailing regatta up there near MSU. Can't help you. Can't help that. That's where the police boat's docked. I got to go there. That's just unfortunate, but that's the reality. The MSU allowed them to use that location. Well, that's where they allow me to keep the police boat. Okay? So I want you to understand that, I take this job very serious, and I take all complaints serious. But I also take them within the letter of the law. The last thing you want is me out there deciding what the law is and arbitrarily enforcing it. Not good. Okay? So I call Mr. Thal's office quite regularly, talk to his prosecutors. I talk to the county prosecutors to make sure if I have any doubt about what I can legally or can or cannot do, that I get a lawyer's opinion on it, so that it does not open Ross Township to unwanted liability. Okay? So that's all I have for now. I'll be here later if you have any other questions.
I have questions,
sir.
but thank you for the background on that. I'm going to go back to the building
Yes, sir.
modification. And did you work with anyone in the office when you determined that it was a project that's, we couldn't get 3 quotes on?
Yes.
Who did you work with?
Ms. Hutchings.
Okay,
I
so then,
advised her that I am having trouble. I even attached a gentleman, a company that's right up the street there that said, well, we can't find the exact door that match everything there, so we're bowing out.
all right, so you worked with Christine on that?
Yes, I
And
have.
then you said that this money is available in the police budget at this point?
Yes.
We wouldn't need
between
additional money?
Equipment and supplies has enough money in it to cover this
All right,
whole.
Amanda, did you get a chance to confirm that in the budget? So you would say that that's accurate as well? All right, then I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and approve this schedule of police building costs to get the 2 rooms set up for police like we talked about last week, based on the fact that Christina worked with Chief Brown on the, the issues of getting full quotes, and then also that Amanda confirmed that it is within the current budget.
I'll support the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any additional conversation? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries by unanimous voice vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And Chief, thank you for your service out there and all our first responders. Okay. Life Care?
Good evening, Lori Phillips from Life Care. You should have the report in front of you. I can support Chief on how busy it's been. As you can see, we ran a total of 63 calls. To compare, last month, we only had roughly 40 calls, so the call volume has gone up. Average amount of time for a Priority 1 call is 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Average response time for Priority 3 is 17 minutes and 15 seconds. We received help from Life EMS on 3 of our calls, and we gave Life EMS help on 4 of their calls. Below that, you can see where we've been transporting people. Basically the same 3 hospitals, Bronson Battle Creek, Bronson Kalamazoo, and now Beacon, which used to be Borges. The staffing, as you can see, the night unit is staffed 100%, the day unit is 72%. We do have a shift bid that is happening actually this week that will be going into effect October 26th. As of that time, then we should be staffed 100% after that. So we are shifting resources to make sure that this unit is covered. The responses outside Ross Township that happened from this location, the list is there for you. If you need any further information, contact me directly and I can get you specifics if you need that. Obviously, it doesn't require HIPAA information, but general information. Met with Chief just before this meeting. There hasn't been any other issues brought up. The second sheet shows you the communication log. If you look about 2/3 of the way down, there's 2 pending categories there. However, after this meeting, those will actually be resolved. The Life Care to set 1 to 2 dates for mutual training with the Ross Augusta Fire Department. We actually have a tentative date set for November 4th to do some pediatric classes with them. And then the second one, Ross Augusta Fire Department wants to have airway iGel training. They're actually going to be covering that in their CPR class, so we are putting that on hold, and we can do that next year if they need that. So I think things are still going very well. If anybody has any questions?
Lori, are the 19 calls that you went to different locations a subset of the 63 located above, or is that in?
That is separate.
That is separate, so
The 63 above are all in Ross Township.
all in Ross Township, so the total amount of calls is what, 82 there or so,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that's not a subset. So something I wanted to talk to the board about, we've been under the new contract for 2.5 months, and we basically have no progress on having a board liaison. So I don't believe that we should continue to go forward without having some type of a board report card back to Life Care, because, again, it's a one-year review period. They've had issues that have been identified and resolved. As of tonight, they had 2 of 13 not resolved, but Lori just said they're going to be resolved. I see almost a record average response time on priority 1 in Ross Township only, because the other ones are not a subsection. So what I'm thinking that we should do is just basically have each board member, since they have the reports in advance and they review and they hear Lori talk, we should somehow state our opinion on whether or not things are going well, or if they're not going well, what we think we might need to fix. And I think we need to have individual, yes or no, that the review period is going very, very well and as expected. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that at each board meeting that we just have a straw vote on how the board feels that Life Care is doing, and that at the end of the contract or toward the end, we would have a scorecard that we can bring up and then make a determination of, again, do we go long-term contract with Life Care, or do we have to bring in a different, contractor? So I like to make a motion that because we don't have a board liaison, that we at least start a scorecard by having each board member opine at each meeting on how well they feel the process is going in the review period. So that's my motion.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and support. Just for clarification, so is part of what I heard you say that we would come up with a scorecard with, I don't know, 4 items or 5 items, and and we would basically say on a scale of whatever, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, it is, or just
No.
we're giving a yes
Just
or no?
a verbal,
yes
everything
or
is
no,
going
okay.
well, or it's not, and then we identify as an individual what the issues are that Lori can take back.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments about? All right, all in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Okay.
I am.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. This
So we
motion,
have-
motion carries 5-1.
So what I'd like to do then, is since we have that motion passed, I'd like to just go on record to say that I'm very impressed with what Life Care has done so far. I appreciate the fact that they are giving us our responses outside of the area, because, as we discussed earlier, that might be opportunity to go to these other townships or places or municipalities to help share in the cost. I think their average time is good, and the fact that they had 13 issues identified between themselves and our fire group, and they're all resolved as of tonight, once the training takes care, I would rate it very high, the performance very high.
Okay. Lori, just one question. On the training, is this one that really, that yes, you're gonna meet the expectation 1 to 2, but does it really go to ongoing? Because every year you want to have, either 1 a quarter or twice a year, something like that?
The plan is to keep it twice a year.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that would be something that maybe what you do on here is put the dates completed and then it goes to ongoing or something.
Yep.
Maybe to consider that. Chief Bogoma, I mean, is there anything that they need to continue to improve on? Any feedback's a gift, so anything you'd like to have them step up the game?
We've discussed it, I mean, and I don't, Jake doesn't, I mean, the command staff doesn't really have has not had any issues. The few issues that we had have been resolved. The training, which we've been discussing for the last 2 or 3 months, we've been trying to get set up. So tonight, we just set a meeting night, or set a training night for November. So we just did it that way, rather than maybe not, so we're just we're planning on November, the first Tuesday of November.
Yeah, having a secured date was actually what would work out for
We're trying
both.
to work on that, but it's been kind of hard trying to get everybody together.
Are there any trustees that are aware of, any board members that are aware of any issues Todd, are you aware of any? No. None from yours? Diana's, trustee
I
Langshaw's
do
not?
know that there has not been staffing here at least twice in the last month. The ambulance has been in the bay and no one's here, so.
Okay,
Yeah, we're addressing that.
Okay.
And that's part of the 72% that you see on there.
all right. Is that a metric that can be captured, that time that it's not staffed? Is that, I mean, it's
It is
73%,
captured.
that's what that means?
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Amanda, aware of anything?
No, it was just the staffing, and I had assumed that 72% reflected those couple of days, so.
Okay, all right. Anything else for Life Care?
So at this point, I know you went around and said, does everybody have an issue? And the staffing came up, but I like to see what each person believes that, are they passing or are they failing the contract right now?
No, I have no issues. We have measurable metrics that they brought in. I mean, communication issues that we had initially, we don't, so I see 100% improvement.
Thank you.
I do too.
Diana says, thank you.
Todd?
Stated before.
Matt, I only know what I hear, and so obviously, you know, I look a lot to Chief Bogema on if he's happy, and, you know, based on the metrics, I'm not aware of, obviously, I'm aware now of the staffing, but, so it feels to me like they're meeting the expectation. And I'll go back to what I said when we started this process. Competition's a good thing, so when we brought in the competition, it caused us all to look at it, and we upped our game. Mary?
I have a problem with the staffing, but it looks like they're dealing with that, so we'll see how that goes in the future.
Okay. All right.
And again, I'd just like each person's comments to be reflected in the meeting minutes because, you know, we miss that sometimes in the meeting minutes.
Good with that, Mary? Yep. All right. Other committee? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other committee updates?
I'll just report that the PC did not have a meeting in August nor September, and the ZBA will not have a meeting in October due to nobody coming forward and needing a review. So
Was that the ZBA you said?
ZBA will not meet in October, and the PC has not met in in August or September.
That is shocking.
Yes.
Next fire board meeting is the 29th of September.
Fire Board 29th of September.
I can report, we had a successful tax collection day on Monday, the last day of the season, and, it went great. And let's see, since last Wednesday, we got 51 payments online, so people are using it, and it seems to be going great.
We'll have an election in November. It looks like we will probably be reimbursed for most of it, so that's a good thing.
Nice. How many months later?
Hopefully not too far in the future.
Amanda, do you, I know the park was open Labor Day, through Labor Day weekend, so that puts it a little bit into September, but do you have a feel for how the park looks on revenues versus expenses?
So we're a little bit less in revenue than last year, and I think we had a couple of really rainy, crummy weekends that put a damper on our numbers. So we definitely have more non-residents than residents that use the park. So we looked at those figures, and then as far as dailies versus annuals, we had about twice as many daily passes sold than annuals. So if we want to look to make modifications or, you know, we at least have the data to do so.
All right, and we went live doing credit card.
Yep, we did that, and that was pretty successful. I think we had 24 residents pay with a card for the park.
That was really, what, I think the last 3 weekend, or, I mean, the weeks of it. So, yeah, very nice.
Mary, you mentioned reimbursement for most of it. Are you at liberty to get into details on that? I mean, what part isn't reimbursed and why?
I'm hoping it will all be reimbursed, so, but sometimes
Right.
will not cover something, like maybe the meal for my election workers, so.
Okay, under old business, contract for services with the Village of Augusta, we have, the contract has been sent out. So both the board and the Village of Augusta Council have that. So the next step is to find some time that we, at the joint meeting, we agreed to have a committee. So now we are waiting for that contract to go out. Now that's out, we need to reach out. Well, Mary, Clerk Stage reached out to John Thomas to try to find some dates. So we just, over the next few days, we'll be working with him to get those dates nailed down. Hopefully, maybe we can have at least one meeting before the next village council meeting.
I'd like to
Or unless the preference is to wait, but it'd be nice to maybe, if we can get together before that.
So if you guys can just get your comments and feedback on how that stands to one of us committee members, or all of us, so we know what you guys think of it, then we'll set some dates with the other committee members from the village and hopefully get it done before our November meeting, sorry.
Okay. All right, so moving into new business, we have Operation Greenlight for Veterans. We have a guest speaker here today.
Hello. My name is Kelly D. Cody Jr., Kellie, middle initial D like dog, Cody, C-O-D-Y, Jr. I am a resident of Ross Township. Have been here for 39 years. Been to a few of these meetings. But before I start, I would like to ask if there's anybody here that has served in our U.S. Armed Forces. Thank you for your sacrifice and service to our country. I am also the chair of the Kalamazoo County Veteran Affairs Committee, which oversees our Veteran Service Office. And we have been working with Kalamazoo County to get the Operation Greenlight up and going. And so I'd like to read an excerpt from the Operation Greenlight to you all so you'll understand it. In advance of the upcoming Veterans Day holiday, Kalamazoo County plans to illuminate buildings green from November 4th through the 11th as part of Operation Greenlight for Veterans, a nationwide effort uniting counties to support military veterans. The initiative, led by the National Association of Counties, raises awareness around the unique challenges faced by many veterans and the resources available at the county, state, and federal levels to assist veterans and their families. Now, in the 5th year, Operation Greenlight is spearheaded by the NACO and the National Association of County Veteran Service Offices. Operation Greenlight is an opportunity to thank veterans for both their service to our nation and their contribution to our communities. So I'm asking the Ross Township to illuminate all your buildings, or all our buildings, with green from November 4th to November 11th. And our county Veteran Service Office will provide green film if needed to put over the lights. So there's also a resolution. Mary, I don't know if they have a copy of that or.
I sent everybody a copy of the proclamation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd ask also for a proclamation to honor our veterans.
To make it happen, I mean, is it, what lights are we covering with green film to make that happen?
I know that the fire department has a wreath that they light up green and red lights on in the month of December, so it can be done, but I don't know. I'd have to look at the outside of the building to see what lights are available.
Yeah, because I think there's lights that are out there above the garage doors, and then we keep the light on in, I think, the hallway out here at the entrance during the evening, and then Amanda's office's light is usually on.
Is that what we're talking about, to
We're
cover
talking
those in
about
green?
illuminating the building.
Building, so that'd be,
Not the
Illuminating.
inside.
Oh, okay.
we have lights out there pointing at the building at night?
Do. Yeah.
But we have all the lights that come on at night up above
There's, can we get up there to cover them with green?
You have ladders, don't you?
Yeah.
I would
Fire
think.
department?
You know, if our Christmas lights that are up were LED, we could change them to green.
I think it's just like built within the REIT though.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at the
Yeah, those up there.
Christmas lights that Doug left up all year long. That,
Don't be looking at me.
if they were LED, we could, you know, program them to green, but they're old fashioned. But, okay. I mean, I think it's,
Something that we can just ask Christina to work with, like,
I guess so, yeah.
and then come up with thoughts, because, you know, I know you can buy another light that'll illuminate at night. There's no way we're not gonna participate right now, it's just a matter of assigning something.
Right. Very, yeah, how to
Sorry, I
do
have
it.
enough to
and-
talk in the mic, so, all right.
Right, so, right, so Mary, you have the proclamation?
Yeah, so if everybody read this proclamation, it's just saying that we will do this. I don't think we do a resolution for something like this. Would it be a motion?
If it is like something like that, you should do by.
You want me to read it into the record?
You can if you want.
Operation Greenlight for Veterans 2025 proclamation. Whereas the residents of Ross Township have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas Ross Township seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil services, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. And whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civil life. And whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for Veterans, and whereas Ross Township appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Now therefore, be it resolved, with designation as a green light for Veterans County, Ross Township hereby declares November 4th through 11th, 2025, as a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of those transitioning from active service, and be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Ross Township, and be it further resolved that Ross Township encourages its citizens and patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in a window of their place of business or residence from November 4th to the 11th, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Let the proclamation carry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you need any help, Lauren King is the supervisor at the VSO office, and she'd be more than happy to help with anything you need.
All right, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Kelly.
you for your time.
Thank you for your service. Okay, with that, we will talk about sidewalks.
All right, I'll address this issue. So this issue comes from the project that we approved, it's maybe at least a year or
3
so
years
ago,
ago.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The Allendale condominium project. Started out as 3 units, scaled back to 2. And as part of that project, there is a sidewalk that is required. And now that sidewalk is required because our ordinance requires sidewalks in the C1 Bay Commercial Zoning District. And so, so the township has as a requirement for sidewalks, but, and we required it in the site plan, of course. When they got to the point of trying to install the sidewalks, the county is saying that we have to sign a separate agreement. And they provided us this umbrella agreement for sidewalks. We looked at this back in, I think it was March of this year. The question came up. And Christina asked me about that contract. And the contract is really based upon a project that we would be doing as a township. So the contract that was supplied really is not what I would envision for this type of project. And I don't think that it's an umbrella agreement for sidewalks in the township. I don't know if the township has any other sidewalks, but we've never been asked to sign an agreement before by the county to have somebody construct a sidewalk. And so when I looked at it, there's a couple things. Number one, the contract did not really fit what we were requiring, which is the contractor to build the sidewalk as part of their site condominium project. Number two, the sidewalk, if you look at it, really goes to nowhere. It just goes right in front of this unit. The reason it's in the ordinance is because they're trying to create a connectivity in that zoning district, but this sidewalk has no connectivity to anything. It would just be in front of these homes. And so, you have that issue, but then you also have sidewalk liability issues. So once you create a sidewalk, the township has liability to maintain the sidewalk from any kind of defects in the future. And so the question now, and when that question came up, I said, I don't think we should sign that agreement. I don't think it fits our circumstance. And that their option really would be to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals because it's in our ordinance, so it is a requirement. Go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, ask for a variance, and I don't see any reason why it would be required in that circumstance to have that sidewalk there. And, so that's kind of where it stands right now still what my thought is they go to the ZBA, they ask for variance from the sidewalk requirement rather than us getting into an agreement with the county over a sidewalk when we've never done that in the past. And it's really a sidewalk that just goes in front of these 2 homes. And so that's kind of where it's sat. Obviously, then we want to bring it to the board and say, okay, what do you want to do? I mean, we could revise an agreement, but that's going to take attorney time and, trying to figure out something that would have to be agreeable with the county. We could do a contract if you wanted to, but it really doesn't make sense in this circumstance, is my thought. You could waive fees to the ZBA if you wanted to waive fees for them to go to the ZBA, since it's really just an element of our ordinance that says you got to have a sidewalk, but then, the county's saying, hey, you got to sign this agreement if you want them to have a sidewalk. And if we're not willing to sign this agreement, then we're kind of forcing the matter to go to the ZBA for a variance for that matter. So those are kind of the issues that are before us.
What's an example of sidewalk liability?
So with sidewalk liability, the township, so generally speaking, the township has what's called governmental immunity. So we're not liable for what would be tort liability, personal injury to property that can occur from just the various things we're involved in. However, there are a few exceptions, narrowly tailored exceptions to governmental immunity, one of which is sidewalk liability. So if the township has sidewalks, then you have a liability to maintain those sidewalks. And if there's a presumption that if there's a vertical discontinuity of 1.5 inches, I think it is, and somebody were to be hurt, there could be potential liability. You have to be aware that there's an issue with the sidewalk. But, there's specific requirements for how that happens. But if those circumstances arise, we have liability for those sidewalks. We'd probably, if we don't have sidewalks now, we'd probably have to get some kind of rider onto our insurance policy to cover that issue too.
If they go before the ZBA, are they asking to eliminate the sidewalks from, okay.
Right, because it's a requirement in our ordinance. Now, I would suggest that the PC, when they meet, take a look at that provision, because it says you shall have a sidewalk. It probably should say you may have a sidewalk. So if the ZBA feel, or the planning commission, when they look at a site plan, determines that there's a reason for that sidewalk, you know, that it does create connectivity or, you know, links up to other areas that, where there could be sidewalk development, they could require it if they wanted to, but not that they have to do it. Especially now with the, you know, the county saying you have to enter into this agreement. I think it'd probably be better if the planning commission recommended an amendment to the zoning ordinance to say may instead of shall with, and it's in the C1 commercial district. It's not in our, you know, it might be in other places, but in generally speaking, we don't require sidewalks in the.
I believe we've got the developer here. Mr. Guzmando, I'd just like to, where do you stand on this? What does the developer like to do, like to see happen?
Well, I mean.
Could you step up the mic? Thanks, Jack.
Yes, Jack Gizmondo with AVB, and Tim Hitson is the homeowner that the sidewalk is supposed to be in front of. And you guys did approve the plan. We had the sidewalk on the original plan for Allendale Park. We submitted the site plan to build the home. The sidewalk was shown there. We went in to get the permit with the County Road Commission. We have to work in the right-of-way, public right-of-way. You have to have a permit from the County Road Commission, and that's where this ended up. So, you know, without the township willing to sign an agreement, then we can't put the sidewalk in per plan. So if the township signed the agreement, we'll put the sidewalk in. If the township doesn't like the liability, I think the preference is not to do it, but we didn't ask not to do it. We just, you know, we were looking to try to do what we said we were going to do initially. Right. It's a sidewalk to nowhere, but.
So you're good with, if you were to go to the ZBA, asking for that variance and they say, yep, you're good, no sidewalk?
Not a problem. I'd prefer not to pay a fee to go in because the township's not looking to, you know, have that agreement. So that's where the stalemate is.
What's the fee for the?
$13.50 or something like that. But I think, I mean, again, I'm cognizant of the area, so of the issue. So I will make a following motion, and if somebody's comfortable seconding, we can talk about it in more conversation. But I would agree that we do not want to sign that agreement because of the liability, and it would only be for like, what, 60, 80 feet of sidewalk in the entire county like that. I do agree that we would also bring this up with the PC to find out how we can better the language when we have smaller projects per se. But so because we're not going to do that, I would also agree to waive, or I'd also motion to waive the charge to go in front of the ZBA, as long as it goes in front of the ZBA the next time they regularly schedule to meet because they have an issue to meet.
Second.
So that means that if we don't have a meeting in October, then that decision won't be made in October. If somebody else comes forward and we have a reason to meet in November, then we would bring that issue up in November or in December. And then that way we're not paying an entire ZBA meeting for, you know, what could end up being a 15-minute conversation. So that's my motion.
Hey, let me make sure I understand this. So you're saying you want to waive the fee, but wait until we have another ZBA meeting to discuss this?
Yeah, not have that be the only thing
Okay.
discussed at the ZBA meeting.
I just want to make sure I'm getting this
Yep.
right.
And that the board agrees that we do not sign a waiver,
Right, I got that.
not a waiver, but a
Agreement.
liability, an agreement, yeah.
I'll support the motion.
Trustee White already beat you to it.
Interrupted him, sorry.
Okay, any other conversation, discussion, questions?
I know that you probably all have not gone out and looked at it, but when they say it would be a sidewalk to nowhere,
So
that's
I
exactly
went
what.
and-
Just connect it to the bridge, and we'll be good. All right, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, so this matter gets referred to the ZBA. Do they actually, even though waiving the fee, is there a
I should put
form?
an application in with Bert, I believe. And as long as the application is in with Bert and Bert's here, he understands that there will be a waived fee, but Bert will only bring it forward when there's a reason for another reason for the ZBA to meet.
Good with that? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, right? No, it looks great. Thank you. Oh, all right, we had Bert Gale on the agenda.
All right. So, as some of you may or may not know, Nick now is a partial owner of Associated Government Services. Part of our agreement is that he needs to become the official building official in Ross Township, and actually all of our client communities. Okay. So the reason that we were asked to put on the agenda was to ask the board to demote me, I guess, and appoint Nick Keck as your building official. Nick and I have a lengthy agreement. It was a 10-year agreement when it started. I'm not going anywhere just yet, but it's sort of a legacy plan. I want my company to keep on going after I'm gone, and Nick will be leading that charge and is more than capable. So with that, was there any questions for me?
Nick, can you tell the board what your credentials might be for this role?
So I was in trades growing through high school and worked in construction most of my life.
You pull that mic up,
Yeah,
it's set for,
Taller than Bert.
Yeah. So I've been in construction most of my life. I got my contractor's license. Actually did some work for Bert and he asked if I ever thought about being an inspector and said not really, and told me what I needed to do. Got approved and started working. Been with him about 6 years and I guess sees enough potential in me for taking over the company. I am approved with the state as a building inspector, plan reviewer, and building official as well.
And I will share that I've worked with Nick for probably most of those 6 years as part of the Planning Commission and now the ZBA. And I have been impressed with when he can answer, and when he can't, he says, I'll get back to you. And even at the last ZBA meeting, we had a race, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I think, so.
see who
yeah.
could get the answer first?
Well, I had something I had to do, and he had something he had to do, and
Who won?
within 10 seconds
We
of
were
each other.
close, yeah.
I sent him an email, and his email popped
Come on,
right in.
same
So,
time.
but anyways, based on that, and I've even met Nick out in the field on certain occasions, and I have nothing but respect for him. So, I feel comfortable making the motion that we make Nick our building official through AGS, and understanding that there's still going to be a partnership, and it will not be a cliff. You know, it should be a nice road.
I'll second.
All right, we've got support and a second. Any questions? Any further discussion?
I have one question. Nick, can you spell your last name for me?
K-E-C-K.
K-E,
C-K.
okay, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, show the motion carries by unanimous voice vote.
Congratulations, Nick.
So typically, a resolution's done and created so it can be signed, making him the building official. So that in the event that the state of Michigan decides that they're going to do an audit or a performance evaluation, you have that record in your file. Rob, what do you say to that?
No, you should have a resolution, but do we have one?
I did not create one,
Okay.
but I think it was
Well-
on Christina's to-do
You want to just
list. but I
change
don't
it to
think
a
so.
resolution, do the
do
Roll
it by
call?
roll call vote.
And then-
You know, that may be sufficient, or you could bring a resolution to the next month meeting.
We could certainly create one.
Or do you want us to just do it and then authorize Christina to sign it?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Once Rob reviews it and approves?
Right. You
Okay.
want to modify
Yeah, I'll modify my motion that.
resolution?
A resolution for a roll call vote so that we would approve the fact that when Bert brings in his resolution, if Rob reviews it and says, yes, this is good, that we would give Christina authority to sign it on behalf of the township.
Okay. Mary, you maintain your second?
Yes, I do.
All right. Clerk Stage, will you please do a roll call?
Treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Trustee Harmon,
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw, Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bert, thank you for all your years of support for Ross Township. I know you're not going anywhere, but thank you.
I feel like
Nick, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Okay, ZBA.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a subject. 2 meetings ago, we identified that we had people who were starting projects without getting a building permit, and then, of course, Bert and Nick and his team had to put a stop work order out there. And then from that point forward, it was up to the constituent to then get a building permit so they can start again. But there are costs involved in that, and so the ZBA was thinking that the board should review the fee structure so that we get reimbursed for it. I set this up for Christina. She did not put it on the agenda today, but I did say that if we could put it on the agenda, I am prepared to give you all the information that you would need as far as the cost, about why we think this is important, because when people aren't paying the penalties, and it's Ross Township and all taxpayers are. So what I like to do with this is just put a motion out there that we have this on the October meeting for a vote, and I will commit to giving you as much and all information on it that Christina has, so it will be a flow for you. You will understand what it is and what the magnitude could be if we choose not to move in that direction.
Rob, do we need a motion? If we motion to put it under new business, by default, does it not just carry to old business because we haven't finished it? Or do we need the motion to?
Either way, if
Okay.
you want
Let's-
to, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying
Okay.
that you'll bring it back.
I'll support his motion.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
This has been something that has been going on, I know, in the MTA connects that we get. This is a subject that's been, other townships have been struggling with, so I'm glad this is coming forward.
And Rob's fully on board because we're looking at not a single penalty, but we're looking at a recovery of cost. I mean,
Right.
if it costs X number of dollars or Y number of dollars, that would be what they do, and Rob would be able to opine in the discussion on that. But I will, by the end of this week, I will get the information out to all board members.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, the motion carries to put it on the agenda next meeting. Thank you, trustee Beeks. All right, we are now coming up to option for police department security. Now, did we covered that? Okay, so we'll mark that one off. So then we go into the public safety discussion.
Something was brought up at our last meeting, public safety and the ambulance liaison. And in my thought path, I think that maybe what we do is we set up a three-person committee that can discuss how we're going to handle, like, the ambulance, the fire department, and the police department, and structure that in such a way so we can get information out to our residents, either through the website or other places. But I think we need to have, like I said, a committee to develop whatever this is going to look like.
You want to turn that into a motion?
I make a motion that we set up a committee of 3 from this board to work on a public safety / liaison type position, or not a position, but A
How about
committee,
just you're gonna put together a committee to come back with a recommendation in this space.
okay, yes.
All right.
That's a good motion.
And I will,
I'll support that.
and I will second it. Do we have any volunteers to be on that committee?
I'd be willing to do it.
Anybody else want to volunteer?
I mean, I'd put it all together, and the board had no interest in what I had, so I'm going to be.
I'll join you in that committee, and we'll see if we can get somebody else to join us. Otherwise, we may have to modify the motion to be a committee of two. Trustee White, you want? Okay, understood. Yep. All right.
Amanda, you ready to say yes?
So as we know, the fire board is coming to an end eventually. I don't want to commit to fire board currently and this. So once the fire board is resolved, I will commit to new committee.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
I
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, Mary, you got the first lunch. Out of your own pocket, not out of.
Right.
All right, on to, quarterly budget review. So it is 7 o'clock, so we're doing pretty good here. Let's see if I can remember how to get back. This one. All right, so for some reason, the color coding doesn't come through on this tab. All right, I've got a printout. So every month we take the download coming out of BSNA, put it in the spreadsheet so we have to pay attention to where we go over budget. Technically, it's by like a category, so looking at all the clerk, but it's easier just to kind of stay up with it. We do also have the ability to take a budget category down. We don't always go up, but usually what we tend to do is modify the up, and where we're at, maybe as we get into January, we might look and take some of the costs that were budgeted, take them down. So the first one is this, it is the MSU, the PILT, that was, what it was originally was lower than that, and it's a one-time that comes in, so I just went through and matched it, rounding up to the nearest dollar, so that's nice. The other one was the State of Michigan Metro Authority, which is right here. And that one, again, I just took it up. So in both cases, these are going up. Then there was maps, labels, addresses, voter list, sitting right here on row 26, and it was 180. I just took it up to 200. It would. I don't know if we're going to end up with more, but. And then the next one is, it's just reimbursements, but it's not for elections. So it's this one right here. So again, it's always nice on the revenue side when it's, any of these adjustments are gonna be adjustments up, which is a good thing. So it was at 86.59, I just put it in at 9,000. I don't know if we'll have more, we may, but, so that is it on the revenue side. Mandy, you're good with these? And then so all of these would end up, so at the end of this, we're gonna do a motion to modify the budget. And every time I do this, I always explain that you would never do this for your own personal budget or in the business world, that you just, as the year goes on, you just keep modifying your budget. But we are legally required to make sure that the budget matches. So little trick when the government tells you they got a balanced budget. Like balanced to what? All right, so as we go into the revenues, there is a county level alternate, which is, this is for the supervisor. So if there's a alternate that's needed, if she's not available. And so that was one that we hadn't initially put a budget in for. So that just went up, that's just 150 at the moment. I did go ahead and, based on where we're at in the year, miscellaneous training, this is one time where I started, I did bring that one down to offset that increase. When we get to the board of review, there's attorney expenses. So one of the things different we started last year is really trying to put the attorney expenses out where it occurs. And so it's only sitting at 54, the year-to-date balance. I put 250. And then we get down to treasurer to memberships. And we didn't have anything budgeted, we're at 25, I put 100, 25 may be it, I don't know, but I just put 100 in there to,
I think I have another $99 for the treasurers, but it's one of those things that used to be in professional services and has moved down to its own category, so it's not an additional expenditure, so.
and mileage is another thing that we are breaking out, so we're monitoring that one, so that went up to, I put it up at 300. And then we go down to the hall. And on the salary hall assistant, who is that?
My deputy.
That's your deputy.
She works part-time for the hall.
Okay. All right, so that was a category that wasn't captured. And then we get down to in the police, police maintenance under insurance in, there we, all right, that's 703. Oh, right there, police maintenance. So we had 380, that was not a category we captured, to put it at 400. And then IT services, again, we're breaking out the IT services. So you see that right here at 3,000. And fire board salary, so we're get down to the fire board. That was one that we had not captured in the budget. And cemetery, property and liability insurance. So it was $21 that we had. I put 50 in for now. And then we get cemetery, there was equipment, it was $55.96. I put 100 in. And then, all right, so here's one, salaries, PC recorder. I think that's, Michael, that's you doing, but we still have sitting here the planner professional services. So this line right here, we didn't capture correctly. I haven't taken it out yet, but I'm pretty sure we can pull that out. It's just a matter of,
Unless we're going to be working on a master plan this year, but I don't think that we are.
and then same thing, ZBA recorder. All right, so when you look at the, I go over here to this table, And again, just looking at the expenses, not the revenue. Okay, so this is set up to, here are the categories, here's the current, and then the proposed. So you can see where the blue shade is, that's where we made a change in that category. So initially, our revenue, our expenses were at 1,444,891. It's now at 1,456,000. So we've gone up like 12,000. And when you look at it, there's clearly 12,000 to offset that. So we're halfway through the fiscal year, and we've made 12,000. Well, we made a couple adjustments last time, but so I think that's, I feel like we're doing really good when we look at areas, especially when you look at the details, the areas that we're not expending. So I would move that we amend the budget as captured here.
I'll support.
I resolve that we modify, amend the budget as captured here.
And I second it. I still say great work that you do on this.
Thank you. All right, so clerk stage, will you please do the roll call?
Trustee White?
Aye.
Trustee Beeks?
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw? Trustee Harmon?
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Treasurer Wiersma?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay, we've now reached that time in the agenda where we have the second citizen comment. So I will open citizen comment at 7:13. Anybody? Anybody? Going once, going twice? All right, citizen comment closed at 7:13. And now we will go to trustee updates. Trustee White, any updates?
I have a couple. When I amended the agenda earlier, I didn't realize that the wrong date was on top, so I'd like to also make a motion that we amend it to our September 16th meeting.
All right, I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay.
All right, next thing I want to say is that one of the reasons I was a sticking point on getting board comments in the meeting was at our last meeting, we had a discussion, and Lynn, you were not here, but we talked about paying off the building in 2026, and that building modifications we're going to look at as part of our budgeting plan for 2027. And I felt like I had the board that was present was in agreement with that. But when I tried to put in the notes, Mary said she didn't hear that when she reviewed the tape. And so I'm only assuming that she doesn't hear a nod, right? So I don't know if we had a visual or not, but I felt like everybody, and I just want to ask everybody, because the meeting minutes say some board members, but we're all here except Christina. So was there anybody here who did not agree with that statement as far as building modifications being done in 2027 as the building's being paid off in 2026?
I was not here, but I would say that generally, barring something that not aware of, I would support that we build any modifications into the budget, and probably the right time is when funds are opened up from having paid the building off.
I'm just looking at the last meeting. I mean, I thought we all agreed with that.
I was one person that didn't say anything, and I think the reason why is because, like Lynn just stated, I agree with that unless something was to come up. But I'm not going to agree to it because then you're going to go back and you're going to change your opinion because something came up and now we really have to do something.
Right, and that could have been captured, and that's what all I'm looking at to have captured. If somebody's not comfortable saying that they are in agreement, then state that, and even if it's just, I'm not in agreement. Like, we had a vote today that went 5-1. That'll be in the record. So I just want to share. That's why I went that way with the ambulance and that motion, and I appreciate everybody going on record with that. And then the last thing I have is I'll try to get a sub, or if somebody can take over for me, but I will not be able to attend the October meeting.
All right.
When I say sub, it's only on the fee, building, when people are doing projects without a building permit. That
You're going to have somebody come in to speak
I might
to
ask
it.
just Rob to kind of go to it.
Yeah, I should be able to address that,
Right.
or Gail wants to, but I should be able to address it just fine.
Right, okay, thank you.
All right. Trustee Langshaw? I don't have anything to add.
I do not have anything. I spoke earlier.
Nice
Make a
job
motion.
being chair. Lynn, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.